There's actually a very strategic logic behind the mobile bathroom. According to former North Korean Guard Command, the reason why Kim Jong Un travels with his own box is because of his health issues. The leader's health has been of paramount secrecy, and because his excretions could contain information about his health status, they can't be left behind. And that's why the dictator never travels without his portable toilet. Not only that, but the dictator's urine and fecal matter are periodically examined to check for illness and other health indicators that might be missed by physicians.
Portable lavatory.
Number 14. Plastic surgery. If there's one person Kim Jong Un loved and admired in the world, was his late grandfather and former leader, Kim Il-sung. The founder of North Korea ruled his country until he died in 1994. April 15th, also known as the Day of the Sun, is a national holiday that celebrates the revered dictator's birthday. In 2013, reports started to spread that Kim Jong Un underwent plastic surgery in order to look more like his admired and respected grandfather. Can you spot the resemblance? Number 13. Fan of K-pop. K-pop is a genre of music that has dominated the entire world, originating in South Korea. This genre has been admired by the general public for over 20 years. Kim Jong Un is also a fan of K-pop and has even hand-picked members of an all-female group, Moranbang, who have to obey a strict style. Red Velvet, a popular all-girl K-pop group, even had the honor to perform for the dictator in early 2018. And from the expression on Kim Jong's face, we can tell he enjoyed the show. Number 12. Unknown birth date. In North Korea, birthdays of leaders aren't just considered a celebration, but are actually national holidays. So it doesn't come as a shock when Kim Jong Un throws a big nationwide party in honor of his birthday. But what is remarkable about the current leader's birthday is, in fact, his birth year is still unknown to this day. Kim Jong Un was either born in 1982 or 1984. Why the mystery, you ask? Well, apparently the dictator wants to look older and more mature, as he's the youngest leader in the world. Number 11. Educated in Switzerland. From 1998 to 2000, a boy from the Korean embassy enrolled in a prestigious school just outside of Bern, Switzerland. That 14-year-old boy, who used a pseudonym, Un Pak, was in fact the current dictator of North Korea. The teenager was remembered by his former classmates as being funny and very interested in sports.
And he always looked like a pro.
His former teacher even admitted that he wasn't the brightest in his class. While the school hasn't officially confirmed it, the picture analysis of the young boy matches up with the current dictator's facial features. Number 10. Love of Swiss cheese. One thing Kim Jong Un must have picked up during his time in Europe is his love of Swiss cheese. His high school friends opened up about how the leader would gorge himself on the delicious cheese. His love for the food is so profound that apparently the North Korean government spends tens of thousands of dollars per year to import the finest Swiss cheese in the world. Some even speculate that his full figure is because of his cheese addiction, of which he cannot get enough. Number 9. A hidden childhood. Kim Jong Un has long been a mystery, even in North Korea. Years go by, and little by little the missing pieces of his life slowly assemble. Little is known about the current leader's childhood and upbringing. As a boy, he was never seen in public. Being raised in a ruling family had its restraints, and only a handful of top officials were allowed to even meet the young Kim Jong Un. There are only a few pictures taken of Kim Jong Un, and one was made public during a big military holiday in North Korea. The boy was so ruthless even as a child that he was often referred to as the little dictator. According to the journalist Anna Fifield, Kim Jong was raised in luxury and pride. He received his own flash motor at the age of 7, and 4 years later was given a gun which he wore on his hip. From a very young age, the boy was groomed to be a merciless leader. Kim's teenage years weren't favored as well. Students from the Swiss school remember how the North Korean was extremely competitive and of bad temper. Because he wasn't academically striving, he would lash out at anyone who spoke German, a language Kim Jong Un could not understand. But while most think his childhood behavior was unacceptable and rude, his father and former leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-il, thought otherwise. Fifield believes that the little boy's arrogant demeanor is what set him apart from his half-siblings, and ultimately won his father's favor and admiration. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. Number 8. No military service. One might think that strategic military advancement and approach would need a substantial amount of knowledge in the field. Kim Jong Un would debate otherwise. As the leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the supreme commander of the Korean People's Army, Kim Jong Un managed to have the fourth largest military in the world without any military background whatsoever. Military service is the biggest part of the nation's constitution, and it is generally compulsory. But the dictator who reportedly finished at the top of his class at a prestigious military academy has never served a day in the North Korean military. Like everything else in the leader's life, his school attendance also remains a mystery. While it is said that Kim Jong Un attended the military academy, some speculate that the leader only received some instructions from military trainers who were associated with the university. Nevertheless, his forward and ambitious service approach showcase how he is a natural in military strategy. According to North Korean official state media, Kim Jong Un was so talented, he was often instructing the instructors rather than learning from them. I guess the natural talent runs in the family. Number 7. Executed his uncle. No one is unsure of Kim Jong Un's ruthless ways. While killing thousands of innocent citizens may seem heartless, executing a loved family member seems worse. Jang Song-thaek was a longtime mentor of the current dictator, but on December 12th of 2013, he was executed by his nephew's orders. Jang Song was reportedly very close to the Chinese government and had numerous meetings with the then Chinese president Hu Jintao. According to reports, the uncle was proposing and planning a coup that would ultimately replace Kim Jong-un with his half-brother, Kim Jong-nam. When the North Korean government uncovered that Jang Song-thaek had other plans for the nation, it resulted in his demise. The ideologically opposed uncle had a different image of North Korea and wanted to radically change the state of the nation. Overnight, Jang Song morphed from uncle and mentor to the dictator to an anti-revolutionary criminal outcast, and his execution followed soon after. In December of 2013, Jang was executed by firing squad for attempting to overthrow the state by despicable methods. Number 6. A dysfunctional family. Speaking of his uncle, Kim Jong's tenacious and tyrant family tree has also raised a few eyebrows. The nation's traitor Jang Song-thaek wasn't the only family member to be executed by the current dictator's orders. But before we delve deeper into the assassinations, let's take a look at the family dynasty tree. The second leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-il, had 5 children from 3 different women. The first child, and the one who was meant to be the heir of the regime, was Kim Jong-nam, a famous playboy and libertarian whose unmatched political ideologies would later harm his chances of rulership, and would ultimately end in his assassination. The rest of the siblings were simply unfit for the coveted leadership role, so naturally the next heir of the dynasty was Kim Jong-un. When Kim Jong-un became the next leader, some had hoped that the young ruler would be more soft-hearted and merciful. But just like his tyrant father and grandfather, Kim Jong-un made a name for himself as a heartless dictator by executing his uncle and assassinating his older brother. In February of 2017, the news spread that Kim's older half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, was killed at a Malaysian airport. He was apparently approached by 2 women who attacked him with a lethal chemical and died on the way to the hospital. And while the investigation is still yet to be solved, many believe the current tyrant ordered that assassination. Kim Jong-nam, who had a lengthy education in Europe, was never the father's favorite. His womanizer and liberal ways were unacceptable by the family dynasty, and Jong-nam received his final strike when in May of 2011 he was arrested at Tokyo Airport. Some people just have bad luck with airports. The renowned playboy had apparently forged a Dominican passport as a way to enter Tokyo and visit Disneyland. And as far as a particular reason for his assassination goes, just like everything else in the ruling family, it remains a mystery. Number 5. Signature hairstyle. What is one country or nation that has a limited menu of approved hairstyles? You guessed it, it's North Korea. All across the land, men and women have around 15 approved hairstyles they can choose from. In salons across the capital, Pyongyang, posters are spread across the walls which display acceptable haircuts. Not only are the hairstyles monitored, but hair length as well is tightly controlled. Long-haired men in North Korea were regarded as unhygienic and anti-socialist fools. And in 2015, the dictator gave men the limitation to a maximum hair length of 2 centimeters, while the women were advised to copy his wife Ri Sol-ju's bob. And if you're wondering why the protesters don't show Kim Jong-un's signature hairstyle, it's because the tyrant has to stand out in every way. As mentioned before, the youngest leader in the world had great respect for his grandfather and the founding father of North Korea. While some speculated he received plastic surgery in order to look like Kim Il-sung, others believe the current leader's hairstyle also mimics the late dictator. But as Kim Jong Un's ruling years went by, so did his hairstyles. When he came into power in 2011, he often rocked the middle part and side bangs, while his recent hairstyles are sleek and pulled back. Number 4. Not the brightest student. Most of the information known to the general public about the ruthless dictator comes from his brave and honest classmates. The media has often turned to his former school friends to uncover details about his teenage personality. And just like his current demeanor, it was less than appealing. Kim Jong Un was sent to a Swiss boarding school when he was 14 years old, and because the school was taught in German, the leader suffered academically. According to a Swiss newspaper report, the youngest leader in the world could not keep up with his peers. Kim was absent for 75 days in his first year, and then 105 days for his second year. The teenager, who was known as Unpak at the time, would barely pass his exams. He would obtain a bare minimum acceptable in mathematics, culture, society, German, and English. Even his former school teacher admitted to the fact that he wasn't the brightest student. The only 2 classes where he excelled in were music and technical studies. And while the dictator was 2 years older than his classmates, his poor level of the German language and international studies led him to struggle for 2 years straight. Number 3. He loves action movies and video games. Another fun fact that was revealed by his former friends and boarding school classmates was that Kim Jong Un really loved action movies and playing on his PlayStation. In 2009, a friend of the dictator disclosed that Kim was slightly socially awkward, particularly around girls. If the leader wasn't playing basketball, he was usually watching martial arts-based movies or playing video games. He preferred movies that featured the Hong Kong kung fu star and Hollywood A-lister Jackie Chan. And just like his taste in action movies, he would usually play combat games on his Sony PlayStation. And the Supreme Leader's love of video games translated into his adulthood and leadership. As one of the few people in North Korea who has unrestricted access to the internet and outside world, Kim Jong Un is said to love the game World of Tanks. And as far as the rest of North Korea goes, video games, amongst other leisure activities, are restricted to say the least. The outdated versions of modern games are somewhat allowed. Terminator Salvation is a popular choice among the nation, and the shooter can be played on an arcade. Number 2. Sneakers. One mind-blowing fact that may surprise all of you is that the ruthless heir of the North Korean dynasty is a big fan of sneakers, particularly Nike Air Jordans. The dictator has a fascination with basketball and would spend most of Switzerland days on the court playing ball, but we'll get to his love of the sport later. The teenager was obsessed with basketball in general, but had always favored the legendary Chicago Bulls player Michael Jordan. According to his classmates, the teen would often spend his precious time penciling in sketches of the basketball player, and his favorite attire to show around the school was short black basketball shorts and Nike Air Jordans. He would wear this fashion on and off court. His love for Michael Jordan is so widely known that the U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright presented the dictator with an authentic NBA basketball as a gift. Can you guess which iconic athlete had signed the ball? Yes, Michael Jordan. Number 1. Best friend, Dennis Rodman. One friendship that is so shocking, no one could have predicted it in the past. If you told 17-year-old Kim Jong Un that his close friend would end up being the notorious NBA player Dennis Rodman, he would first not believe you, and second, might have ordered your demise. But how exactly did this tight friendship between the North Korean dictator and the athlete develop? Their history dates back to 2013. Former Chicago Bulls player Dennis Rodman is notorious in the basketball world as being one of the most unapologetic and polarizing players. His unique style and outspoken personality set him apart, not only on the NBA courts, but also in the eyes of the North Korean dictator. As we have already established, the current tyrant Kim Jong Un has always been fascinated with the popular sport, a fascination that, amongst many other things, he inherited from his father. In 2013, Dennis Rodman made his first trip down to the totalitarian country in order to host basketball exhibits. Their friendship grew stronger as Rodman continued to make multiple trips in 2013 and 2014. And let's not forget to mention how the NBA player, as a birthday present, sang happy birthday to his best friend Kim Jong Un. And while their friendship has raised many eyebrows and even caused major concern within the US, Dennis has nothing but the best to say about his newfound friend. He may not be Michael Jordan, but I guess it was enough for Kim Jong Un.
Now, you got in a lot of trouble with the Kim Jong Un thing.
So we don't want to talk about that. That's a touchy, so I don't want to talk about that. It's over and done.
Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.